John in Orlando, Florida. Hey, John, what's up?
Yeah, how you doing, Tom?
Good.
I just had kind of following on this previous gentleman. One of the things that has always puzzled me, and I guess maybe it's true that everybody's got their price, and along the same line, if you can't buy somebody off, what do? You get rid of them? And that's what puzzled me about Obama. When he got in office, he didn't do a thing for the bankers. He didn't try to go after all the banksters and what they did.
Right.
And that really made me scratch my head because I was an Obama guy.
Right.
And this time I'm going to be a Bernie guy. But there again, we're probably going to end up with Hillary because I'm an independent, so I can't vote in the Democratic primary.
Mm.
But there it is. Is it because
you can re-register it? You can change your registration.
Well, I know, and I yeah, that's true. And I'll probably end up doing that to vote for Bernie.
But is your question why do Democratic presidents go along with these awful trade deals? Is that the essence of what you're asking?
Is it
because I have an answer to that question.
Well, your opinion would be, I'd like to hear your opinion on. Do you think they're under debt threat on some of these people? I mean, the corporates probably wouldn't.
Here's what happened.
At all.
Here's what happened in 1980 when Reagan came in. The balance of power, as it were, between corporate money supporting Republicans and labor union money supporting Democrats was about 50-50. You had about a third of America was unionized. There was a strong union movement in the United States. The unions were very politically active. They turned out the vote, and they turned out cash for Democratic candidates. Ronald Reagan declared war on the unions. And by 1987, toward the end of his candidacy, the unions were already collapsing. They were collapsing bad, and they were collapsing fast. And Al Fromm's suggestion to Bill Clinton, I believe all this was well intentioned. I don't think that this was a bunch of evil guys sitting around going, hey, let's get in bed with the banksters, and you, Bill Clinton, you'll be able to be worth $100 million when you leave the White House. I just don't think it worked out that way. It did work out that way, but I don't think it was intended that way. I think what they were looking at was the Democratic Party traditionally has been funded by labor unions, and keep in mind, this was before the era of fundraising on the internet. And how are we going to run a campaign? How can we make Bill Clinton president of the United States if the labor unions don't have any money anymore? I mean, the Republicans are aggressively destroying labor. And this is the principal reason why Republicans hate labor. It's one of the reasons why they trash, for example, unionized teachers, because they're in a union. And those unions are politically active. So the thought was, okay, if we can't get the money from the unions, we're going to have to get it someplace else. We don't want to get it from the tobacco companies. They're totally in bed with the Republicans. We don't want to get it from the oil industry and the fossil fuel industry. They're totally in bed with the Republicans. But, what's a kind of clean industry that everybody figures is benign? They figure it's not all that dangerous. Banking. We'll get money from the banksters. They got billions of dollars. They can help us out. We'll help them out. And so a large part of the DLC third way thing is getting in bed with the banksters. And that's why this new TPP deal has, the centerpiece of it, the cornerstone of it is deals for banksters and investors. And then once it was in place, the banksters, became the crazy, the lunatics who ran the asylum. They've taken over the Democratic Party, which is why it's taking an outsider to the Democratic Party, Bernie Sanders, somebody who has caucused with the Democrats but has never called himself a Democrat, to come into the Democratic Party and say, the emperor's wearing no clothes. John, thank you for the call. This, it was like, how do we save our party? The same thing, by the way, is going on right now with the Republican Party, because the Republican Party is looking at big money billionaires and going, maybe we shouldn't have gotten in bed with these guys.
You're listening to Thom Hartmann. Visit ThomHartmann.com for audio and video archives.
I mean, the only reason you've still have 14 Republican candidates is because, a bunch of them have their own private billionaires. They have no reason to be in the race.